Welcome. Today, we are going to talk about taming the data beast. We're going to break down how some of the smartest businesses out there are turning these massive mountains of raw data into their sharpest competitive advantage. All right, let's get into it.
So does this feel a little familiar? Your company's collecting information on, well, everything. Sales, customers, operations, you name it. It's like a tidal wave of data coming in every single day. But when you ask a seemingly simple question like, hey, what were our most profitable products in the Southeast region last quarter, you get crickets. Or even worse, you get 5 different answers from 5 different departments. You're literally drowning in data, but you're starving for a straight answer.
Well, the good news is there's a whole framework designed to solve exactly this problem, and it's called business intelligence, or BI for short. You can think of it as the bridge that takes you from just having data to actually using that data to make way, way smarter decisions.
So, what is business intelligence really? Let's unpack this definition a bit. The key phrase here that you got to remember is entire data lifecycle. See, BI isn't just one piece of software you install. It's the whole shebang. It's a system that handles every single step, from gathering the data, storing it, cleaning it up, analyzing it, and then finally, presenting it in a way that actually makes sense. The whole pipeline is built from the ground up for one purpose: better decision-making. And believe me, this isn't just theory. Look at these real-world examples. NASDAQ, they used BI to handle real-time questions on these colossal amounts of trading data. And Swisscom, a huge telecom provider, managed to integrate data from over 200 different systems. 200! All to get a single, clear picture. From finance departments improving their forecasts to operations making better calls on physical assets, the benefits are tangible and they are massive. Okay, but to get these kinds of incredible results, you can't just point these powerful tools at your normal, everyday database. That would be like trying to race a minivan at a Formula One race. It's just not built for that kind of performance. You need a specialized foundation. You need what everyone in the industry calls a single source of truth. And this slide right here breaks down the fundamental difference perfectly. So on the left, you've got your operational data. Notice the keywords: day-to-day, current, detailed. This is the data that keeps the lights on, the stuff that runs the business moment to moment. Now look to the right at decision support data. The focus shifts completely. We're talking strategic, historical, summarized. This stuff isn't for processing a million tiny transactions. It is purpose-built for big picture analysis. Trying to use one for the other's job? Well, it's just a recipe for disaster. And that specialized home for all our analytical data is called the data warehouse. Now, the definition sounds a little technical, but these words are actually crucial. Time variant just means we keep historical data so we can see trends over months or even years. And non-volatile is key. It means once data goes into the warehouse, it doesn't change. It's a stable historical record you can trust. It becomes that single source of truth we were talking about, designed for one thing and one thing only: high-speed analysis. Now, you're also going to hear people talk about data marts. The best way to think about it is like this. The data warehouse is the giant central library for the entire company. A data mart is like a smaller, specialized wing of that library, focused on just one subject like marketing or sales, built for a specific team. It pulls its data from the main warehouse, which makes sure that everyone is still working from that same single source of truth. Okay, so we've got our specialized data warehouse. Our single source of truth is all set up. Now for the magic. How do analysts actually explore all this data to find those hidden gems, those insights? This is where we get into something called slicing and dicing. The engine that powers this whole exploration is called online analytical processing, or OLAP. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But these are the tools that use what the slide calls multidimensional data analysis. And all that really means is that you can look at your data from a whole bunch of different angles at the same time, by product, by region, by customer, all at once. The absolute best way to think about this is with an analogy. Imagine all your business data is a Rubik's Cube, a normal, flat spreadsheet that only lets you see one face of the cube at a time. OLAP is the mechanism that lets you twist and turn that cube in any direction, letting you see any combination of faces you want, so you can spot the patterns that emerge. It's all about seeing the relationships between the different sides of your business. So how does OLAP do this so fast? Well, the secret is in the structure. The most common model for a data warehouse is called the star schema, and its beauty is its simplicity. You have one central fact table that holds your numbers, like sales figures and revenue. Then, connected to it like the points of a star, are dimension tables that give you the context, the who, what, where, and when. Now, this simple, elegant structure is actually terrible for day-to-day transactions, but it is blazingly fast for the exact kind of analytical questions we ask in BI. So what does an analysis using these tools actually look like? This slide shows a pretty typical workflow. An analyst might start with total sales for the entire company. Then they slice it to look at just one time period, say the fourth quarter. Next, they dice that slice to focus on just one region, like the Southeast. And finally, they can drill down even further to see individual product sales. In just a few clicks, they've gone from this massive company-wide number to a super specific, actionable insight. So we've gathered the data, we've stored it in a warehouse, and we've analyzed it with OLAP. Now we get to the whole point of this entire process, making smarter, data-driven decisions. Now, analytics in BI generally falls into two big camps. First, you've got explanatory analytics. This looks backward. It's all about answering the question, why did something happen? It's about finding trends in the data you already have. But the next level, the really exciting part, is predictive analytics. This is where you build statistical models to ask what is likely to happen. And this is where BI goes from just reporting on the past to helping you actually shape the future. But let's be honest, none of this fancy analysis means a thing if a human being can't understand it. And that's where data visualization comes in. It's all about presenting data in meaningful and innovative ways. But the goal is simple, and it's profound: to help people gain insight quickly, just by looking at a simple picture. Just look at this chart. If I gave you a table with these exact same numbers, you'd have to scan it, compare the rows, do some mental math. But with this visual, it's instant. You immediately see that product A is crushing it, product C is just kind of okay, and product B is in serious trouble. You don't just see the numbers, you see the story. That is the power of good BI. And that right there is the key takeaway. The goal of all this work, of all this technology, isn't just to see the data. It's to understand the story that the data is trying to tell you. All these tools, the warehouse, OLAP, the schemas, they're just there to help you listen to that story more clearly. Which leads us to our final thought. Every click, every sale, every single interaction your business has is generating data. And all that data is telling a story. It's a story about what's working, what isn't, and where your next big opportunity is hiding. The only question left is, are you ready to listen?